Hey Dosers, Tracie here from the San Marcos Escondido campus, and we are on the last day of the first week of How to Care When I Don't Feel Like It. I sure hope that you have enjoyed hearing from the San Marcos Escondido team. They were excited to be able to share with you and give you some challenges over this week. And this week I just want to finish out with this idea of how we really view the pieces of this holiday season and make sure that we aren't stepping into what we would call a comparison trap. And I don't know about you, but I can get invited somewhere, or I can hear a conversation, or I can just see a picture of something. And I can start with this mind game that I'm not measuring up, that the Christmas isn't going to be perfect, or whatever it might be, or feeling it creates these feelings of insecurity in me. I don't know about you. Discontentment. I start hoping or wishing things were different than they are. And you find it everywhere. We find it in advertisements. We find it in the social media that we scroll and we look for. And I would just say, sometimes I'm looking for ideas for what I'm going to serve, and I get down this rabbit hole, a rabbit trail of what I wish would be, or I do or don't have. And it also, we can find it even in events, like when we're hearing people have conversations maybe about experiences they've had, and we start comparing the experiences that we've had or we know are probably coming, and it's really difficult. And when we look at how Jesus operates, he tells us there's a completely different way. And instead of having that comparison stealing our joy and stealing our peace and our security of who we are, Jesus just says, hey, do it my way, and it'll be counterculture to what it is that we are feeling from all of those things. So Paul in Galatians gives us twice, once in chapter 1 and one in chapter 6. So he repeats himself, knowing that this is going to be something that we're going to struggle with. And he tells us, hey, look, you're supposed to be working for an audience of one. Do not be looking around and comparing yourself to other people. And then he also says in chapter 6, stop trying to win human opinion. And man, isn't that really what that's about? I want to know that I measure up to other people, when really my gauge should be, am I measuring up to Jesus and what he calls me to? And so that makes me think of Proverbs 29:25 that says, fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects us of that. And man, don't you sometimes feel like completely disabled when you have to go somewhere, or people are coming, or any of these things that make us insecure, feel like we are just not enough? And Jesus just says, hey, you're enough in me, and don't worry about what other people think. But when you trust in me, when you operate like I call you to, and when you do what I tell you to do, follow those commands, I will free you up from all of that. We won't be bound by those things. And so what I want us to do this week, this is my challenge, is as we finish out this holiday season, keeping our eyes focused on Jesus, really thinking about Emmanuel, God with us, because that changes everything. That changes when I'm looking to work towards the audience of him and him alone. And so how do we do that? Well, first of all, I would encourage myself and you to stop scrolling. Stop looking at what other people are doing, or what other people are getting or gifting, or where they've been invited. Just be confident that God knows you, sees you, and be joyful in Emmanuel, God with us, which lends us to having maybe this daily maybe a daily practice of gratitude, looking at the things that we do have, looking at the things that we have in Jesus and Jesus alone. That changes everything. And it's really only then, when we have this mindset and this lens of joy, God's joy and peace, is when we can truly care for those that are around us. I do want to wish you a very merry, restful Christmas. We'll see you next time.